So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. On behalf of Manila House, this is Bambina Olivares, Director of Programming, welcoming members and non-members alike to today's online conversation about renewable energy, solar, so good, presented in partnership with Quintin, you'll have to say this. WEnergy Power Pilipinas, Georgetown Club of the Philippines, and Asia Society Philippines. If this is your first time to join us online, allow me to introduce Manila House. We are a private members club that opened in February 2017 with the aim of bringing together an assemblage of people from the business, creative, cultural, and intellectual communities who are drawn to each other by a shared interest to continuously learn about art, culture, food, business, and politics, and from the diversity of their fellow members themselves. It is a community of curious, committed, and caring individuals, and it lives on beyond the physical confines of the club. We began our webinar series in May 2020, covering and encouraging discussion about a range of topical issues from business and investment to health and wellness and art and culture. We have featured both local and international speakers and continue to broaden our reach among members and non-members alike. Our previous webinars are available for viewing on the Manila House YouTube channel. That said, for the non-members among us, you might like to consider membership to Manila House. We have a limited number of memberships still available. Please email membership@manilahouseinc.com for more information. Please be informed that Manila House, in compliance with the allowable IATF and LGU capacities, currently at 100% for indoor dining, is open for dine-in to fully vaccinated members and their guests, and our takeaway service is open to the public. Please call us on 0917-816-3685 to place your orders. And to our members who have yet to visit our newest space, Luna Lounge, please come by and see this beautiful room. And this is where I'm broadcasting from right now. So before we begin, just a few ground rules. This event is being recorded and live streamed and will be up on the Manila House YouTube channel in a day or so. Please use the chat box and the Q&A box for any questions and comments, and we'll get to your questions as we go along. Thank you. So with gas and electricity prices soaring, it's time to seriously consider going green. But what does going green really mean? And what is clean energy? Are there sustainable and practical sources for energy that are effective and cost efficient? Here to tell us more is Quintin Pastrana, President of WEnergy Power Pilipinas, to give us a lowdown on alternative sources of energy. Allow me to introduce Quintin to you. He's a Manila House member, and we've collaborated several times with him on various occasions. He's an entrepreneur focused on promoting renewable energy, literacy, and investment for startups and SMEs. He is the president of WEnergy Power Pilipinas, founder and chair of the award-winning Library Renewal Partnership, and the business anchor at ABS-CBN News Channel. He graduated with degrees in business, international relations, and creative writing from the universities of Georgetown, Cambridge, and Oxford. So let me turn you over to Quintin, who will welcome all of you, as well as those of you joining us from Asia Society Philippines, as well as the Georgetown Club of the Philippines. Quintin, over to you.
Bambina, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and good afternoon, good morning to everyone who are tuning in from outside of the ether and here live at the house. I actually wear three hats today. The first and foremost, is the son of the great fathers. My dad is here, so Quintin Pastrana. Second hat is my life's work, which is in energy. And I'm happy to be here on behalf of WEnergy Power Pilipinas. I also head business development for WEnergy Global, and our CEO has flown in from Singapore via Palawan this morning. At the Professor Singh, he's here. All the expertise in the room is here because we also have all our team members here who can explain to you and share with you the wonderful gospel of renewables in WEnergy Global. And thirdly, and lastly, and not the least, really proud to be Jesuit educated. I have friends here from my first Jesuit institution, the Ateneo, but more importantly, this is also a co-partner of the event, the Georgetown Club of the Philippines, headed nonetheless by Natalia Peña, our new president. Natalia, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for sponsoring this. Without further ado, let me begin. And I guess we'll just put the cover slide in. I just want to share, and with all due respect and honor to our friends here from China, so Megan and Kenny are here. I remember very well one of my professors in Georgetown telling me that there is a Chinese motto or curse, if you like, that says, "May you live in interesting times." And like it or not, we live in interesting times. This is a time of high political risk. This is a time of black swans, a whole group of black swans coming together. That everybody who said 2021 was so bad, I'm so looking forward to 22. Well, guess what? Hold my beer. 2022 is upon us, and nothing we predicted has ever come true. And this means uncertainty. And for many of you in the room, uncertainty is your worst friend. They're your worst enemy. They're your worst enemy. The bottom line is business likes predictability. It likes lower cost of doing business, and it likes an environment wherein when you put your money, especially those of you who are in the infrastructure sector, you want to get that money back in 20, 30 years because you put so much of your savings and investments there. How do you get that money back? How do you make sure your shareholders are happy or your investors? You can't even predict the environment where you have a return. So I want to speak that language to you today, not as one of a tree hugger talking about the environment. I'm not going to be Al Gore the second here. I'm going to be a person who also consumes a lot of electricity, who has seen his electricity bills rise in my tiny condominium. And many of you who have properties or businesses who consume much more electricity are receiving on the receiving end of that pain point. So let's, without further ado, let's begin. Okay. So let me just begin by introducing who we are. WEnergy Global is a one-stop shop, a complete firm where we talk about our engineering, procurement, and construction. We've been there from the concept side to the commissioning side, from project initiation, innovation stage, to the actual execution down to the last electron. And more importantly, we have a lot of proof points in the business that you're at. We are the leading renewables energy provider for key sectors in the economy, be it agribusiness, manufacturing, tourism, education, or even your small and medium scale industry that really wants to stay competitive in this very globalized and yet very vulnerable world. Next slide, please. Our operations so far, we are all over the place. We've got partners from Japan, from the Netherlands, from Europe, from the Philippines, but we like to think of ourselves as a regional firm. We like saying that Southeast Asia is our backyard, and it's our laboratory, it is our home. And at the end of the day, you're going to see key operations coming out of Singapore, Myanmar, Indonesia, especially the Philippines, and interesting enough, outside Southeast Asia, we're increasingly looking at Papua New Guinea, wherein that country is 70% unenergized. Meaning to say 70% of the population does not have access to clean, reliable, and affordable energy. That's where we are. We are in the business of transforming economies to the primary utility and essence of energy. Now, I want to take you just through our family, because we've seen that we are many multinational. And the key here is we're a family of many firms. In the Philippines alone, we have a leading microgrid company. Ate and I just came from Palawan. WEnergy Power Pilipinas, which I represent today, does the solar commercial industrial rooftops, which is the language we're going to speak about. We have a subsidiary and a sister company in Indonesia, which is a key powerhouse of Asia. But our technology partners range from all over the world. WEnergy Global, which is really the brain, think tank, and the key investment partner here, is partnered with TEPCO Power Grid. For those of you who do not know TEPCO Power Grid, they are like the Meralco of Japan. They run the 29 million resident city and make sure 24/7 all those beautiful neon lights, the city that never sleeps of Japan, is actually running. And then, of course, we have two academic partners. And if you remember Dartmouth University, no offense to our Georgetown friends, but Dartmouth has a good business school also. And we were engaging them a few years back to talk about blockchain and trying to raise money from crypto and stable coins. And TU Delft, which is the alma mater of our CEO, is basically one of the leading engineering universities around the world. So we're partnered with them as well as Clean Partners, Maharlika Clean Power, which is basically a holdings company that handles microgrids. Our banking partners, you see many of the names here that you're familiar with: BDO, DBP, UOB in Singapore, Silta, which is a blockchain financing firm, RCBC, and we have another bank friends here who hopefully will be doing business with soon. Security Bank, thank you very much for being here. And a whole slew of partners in an ecosystem that is aimed for creating the kind of innovation that you have down to the last mile delivery in terms of energy. Next slide, please. Okay, I want to take you through this place in Sabah. Many of you know the underground river, right? The world-renowned UNESCO heritage site. That, to me, if people are to ask you, could we put a coal plant near the underground river? What would the answer be? Do we want to put a fossil fuel plant out the other end? Because there's so many tourists coming in there and it needed power. That question, interestingly enough, was raised to our CEO about 10 years ago. And obviously the answer was no. But the problem is there was no technology to get a last mile delivery solution at the edge of Puerto Princesa to be able to build an energy solution that will keep the economy running, make the tourists enjoy 24/7 electricity without hearing the diesel generators, and at the same time keep the waters pristine because we wouldn't be using too much fossil fuel. Hence, a few years later, we were able to develop this solution, which integrates solar technology, Tesla batteries, which is this battery storage system, biodiesel generation, and this is basically the first pioneering clean microgrid in the region of Southeast Asia. At the end of the day, this is a flagship that we want to build on. These decentralized solutions around the country. This is a country, as if many of you remember, Miss Universe of 7,145. Apparently now it's 7,630 islands. And those islands cannot be run by a nuclear plant, a diesel plant, a coal plant. It has to be a renewable energy solution if we are to protect our beautiful islands in the Philippines. Next slide, please. And if you look at it this way, this is really the magic of the ingredients of a microgrid. To get 24 hours and 7 days a week, you have to have, number one, you have to have the battery storage. So these are Tesla batteries, grade A, top of the line, for storing and charging during the day as the solar panels, 5,440 are charging during the day. And they discharge once the light starts ebbing. And at the end of the day, there's resorts, a hospital, the police station, they all start getting energy starting in the afternoon, evening into the morning, when the sun comes up again. And this technology is available. It's something we're going to replicate. The reason Adam and I just came from Palau is because we're on the verge of expanding to 16 other sites around Palawan. And what will that mean to the governor who we just saw yesterday? That means Palawan will be the leader in democratized, decentralized generation. It will be a pride of the Philippines that an island can be producing renewable energy in the farthest corner. And that's going to be a pride point of pride. Now, why do I bring this up when I want to talk about solar? It's because the complicated Internet of Things enabled microgrid like that is so sophisticated that if you were to talk about a rooftop on, let's say, for example, strip mall or a building or a hospital, it makes it a lot easier to do because we've done the hard part. And that is really my case today. We are experts in the engineer microgrids and integration. Solar rooftops should be quite vanilla for us to do, and we're happy to share it today. Next slide, please. And this is really what it is. The case studies range from everything from a 21 kilowatt building BGC right near us here, which we started off at 7-8 years ago, and then going to university systems like the St. Louis University, so the Belgian European great university system that's here, that produces the best doctors and engineers and lawyers and whatnot. All the campuses are now run on renewable energy. FEU is starting as well. We're looking at manufacturing plants like MD1, which builds electric vehicles and also cheap parts for the local automotive industry. We're also looking at warehouses like Baez Antonio, our friend here, has helped put a warehouse system run by renewable energy. We have hospitals as well. We have 2 hospitals under our wing now. People who have trusted us for life-saving, life-critical businesses are now run on renewable energy. And recently, and I'll talk to you about it more later, a large cold storage facility very important for us today in terms of how we are able to maintain the kind of quality of our food. That's going to be critical, and that's what we're powering already with a company called Northstar, which handles all the SMUs, cold storage. Next slide, please. And more importantly, we're not just about solar and putting on rooftops. A lot of people can do that. We have a lot of competitors do that. But what we like doing is pushing the envelope in terms of engineering solutions, no matter how difficult or small. Like for example, and after we can talk to you about this later, he was the one who handled this off-grid lighting system, the Sky Lane, the VIP lane in Bangkok, the only place in Bangkok, no offense or offense in Thailand, that has no traffic. Because it's a 24/7 bike lane that you could bring your carbon bike, I just had the bike recently, so your under 9-kilogram bike, and go around the airport and do this with all the VIPs in Bangkok, because there's an energy solution there that has LED, battery, and lights. So basically, it's 24/7, and it's a nice circle. We're the only non-Thai company to win that bid, and we've been done there for I guess over 7 years, right? Also, for Filipinos, they're happy to know, and this is where the Georgetown Club came in also. We actually raised funds to revive the Corregidor Eternal Flame Monument. 2 years ago, it was the 75th anniversary of Douglas MacArthur taking over the island from our invaders. And at the end of the day, it didn't work because there was no lights. So we hired a sailboat from a good friend of ours, Apo Ongkin, and we basically commandeered it with an engineer. We fixed the system in 24 hours, and right in time for the anniversary of the 70th anniversary of taking over the island and reestablishing freedom in the island. Now it runs 24/7. We also done the LTA, which is the Land Transport Authority, which is the LPO of Singapore, is now working with us for solar and micro wind turbines. So we're not just a solar company, we're also integrating different kinds of technology like wind. There was also a tidal power using micro wind turbines, or now micro tidal turbines underneath the waves. That's a technology we're working on. We're doing floating solar. We've done the feasibility study for the Singapore Ministry of Home Affairs. And at the end of the day, we're also in other ASEAN countries like Laos, where a lot of run-of-river systems where the aging dams now have extra power because those same micro turbines on tidal can actually work for the government. So that's really, we're trying to push the envelope. And the key thing I want to share here is it's about innovation, customer service, and paying attention to what sustainability means at the ground level. Not a classroom exercise, but a real life experience where our customers see their bills go down at 40%, 50%, seeing them very, very happy that they're part of the sustainability movement, no matter how small or big the business is. And we're so happy to be part of that. Next slide, please. Now, that's a lot of good news, but let me tell you some bad news first, okay? But this is the other half of the interesting times. We are in a great region, right? More than half the world's population lives in that little circle we call home. Even if it is a fraction of the entire world. So we really are a sweet spot of development. Having said that though, this slide will tell you that our demand is being outstripped by, our supply is being outstripped by demand. The critical thing here to note is we are energy hungry, but energy deficient. So at the end of the day, for many of you who remember the economics, when your demand outstrips your supply, prices will go up. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We have customers in Ilocos Norte whose prices went up from 12 pesos per kilowatt, which is quite high, to 20 pesos just last month. So you're seeing this across the country, and they're now coming to us. We don't have to market so hard. We know people who want to improve their bottom line, so we're headed out there. Next slide, please. Now, this is the slide. Part of the topic is I just want to make sure this narrative comes in. Economists at the U.S. Energy Industry Administration and at the same agency, and at the same time, looking at trends are showing that this is the oil price. This is Brent crude and WTI, West Texas Intermediary, which is basically your benchmark for crude. With the recession, you notice this is COVID, going up again, and whether or not it goes higher, if somebody invades Taiwan, or if it goes lower and everybody is happier with the peace and order situation, either way, the new normal is going to be above $80. That is the new normal. It's not going to be a time where, oh boy, I can fill up my gas. I'm going to go down to Camarines Store and enjoy going to the whale sharks. Those days are gone because it's going to be so hard to refill up your gas tank, expecting that you're going to get more bang for the buck. That is not the case anymore. Okay, and if you look at it this way, they're saying that $105 by the end of 2022 on average, and around $88 as predicted by next year. But that's not even counting all the uncertainties that we might see. This side, on the right side, you're going to see that this is where the Philippines become more vulnerable. The gray part here is what we import. The gray part there tells you that around 80% of our energy is imported. Because it's important and they're likely going to be from fossil fuel, we are going to be at the really bad end of any prices as we're seeing it right now. We just spoke to an economist earlier, Dr. Bernie Villegas, and he said that we are the second, if not the highest power prices in Asia. So that is really where the pain point is. And I want to share with you that the pain point can be turned, as our Chinese friends like say, from a crisis into an opportunity. This is the opportunity. Next slide, please. The leading business group, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which we're proud to be in, says that we are very vulnerable here. In fact, the Vice President of Industry Affairs, Vice President of Industry Affairs, was saying that at the end of the day, the high impact of fuel charges has increased the cost of manufacturing, the cost of doing business. It's making people scared that maybe I should just transfer my industry to Vietnam or Indonesia. Maybe I should just export or import something rather than make our own. As a Filipino, I don't want that to happen. I want to have more jobs in the Philippines. I want to have more manufacturing investments. I don't want to lose those jobs anywhere else. And the best way to do that is to improve and shore up the bottom line for our customers. And that means reducing their energy costs. Because as many of you know here, your OPEX for energy is roughly 30 to 40% of your costs. Imagine if we're able to slash that by a third or half. That really makes you more competitive in the game to ride out this black swan of an environment. Next slide. So as my boss likes showing, this is my new favorite slide also, is that there are dollars or euros or yuans or renminbis falling on your rooftop. What are you going to do? You're just going to keep it there? Why can't you channel that? Why can't you channel that into life-affirming, cost-saving, environmental saving energy? And that's really what it is. And I want to show you a short video. Just our friends at Ogilvy were kind enough to help produce this for us. And to save money, we have all our employees in the video, but it'll show you in a minute what the advantages of being a solar customer is.
This revolutionary new device can remove up to 10 times more earwax than a traditional.
We're not selling earwax material, but that's an issue better.
Wait. Sorry.
Okay, we're just going to switch to the commercial.
Sorry. Is it not showing? This one. This one.
Thank you for bearing with us, but that has, to summarize, it basically shows you that a firm like ours.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's TPC webinar entitled Fundamentals of Solar Photovoltaic Systems. My name is Ryan Smith. I'm going to be your presenter today during today's session. As we get started to really talk about this fundamental concepts and some maintenance procedures with solar photovoltaic systems, I wanted to let everyone know.
Sorry.
Apparently, in Nike, they call it a parking light. No, having said, you see, everybody's talking about solar now, but the real language you want to hear, especially what the ad is showing, it's not about the environmental savings per se. It is about how is it saving your, your electricity bill, so you can add your bottom line. You can get an internal rate of return, which is in double digit, which is so far here if you're investing in the stock market now, God forbid. Or in Bitcoin, even worse. At the end of the day, you have a proper investment return. Your payback period or your ROI will come back within 5 years, as we've seen with our clients. And more importantly, if you think about it, let me share with you a case study that just to show you that I'm not talking about it out of thin air. This is an actual client of ours, the cold storage company. Basically, an average 800 kilowatt system size produces 1,150,000 kilowatt hours. What does that mean? It doesn't mean much for the layperson, but it means that for the environmentalists in the group, it's 500 metric tons of CO2 saved annually. What does that mean? That's 258 hectares or 600 acres worth of forest cover that you don't have to plant every year, equivalent of what you're saving here for the environment. More importantly, for the millennials in the group and the Gen Z in the group, that means 6 million cell phones every year are charged because of that. Thousands of cars, and more importantly, this is really a measurable target because we like measuring it. Because without measuring it, you can't manage it. And at the end of the day, this is the number that you should stand out. If you remember your Meralco bills, how much are your Meralco bills? Or if you're in another province, what are your bills like? Can you give me a number? There's no right or wrong answer. How much? 12? 11, 12? From Ilocos Norte, it's 20. From our friends in, was it Brooks Point? Or no, Port Barton, which is a nice resort area. We're paying 53 pesos, by the way, just to give you an idea. The rate here, you might not see this, is at 1 peso 70 centavos. That is your rate flat for the next 30 years if you were to invest in a renewable energy system. So that means that when you have that system flat for that amount of years, it doesn't matter what happens to Putin or whoever else, whoever dictator wants to come over, it doesn't matter. You are saving that money, and the delta, as some of the physicists will tell you, that delta between your price going up, inflation will do that for you, and a hit there will do it before. That price is your saving, and that is what you can measure and count on. That's why our customers are super happy. That I'll give you an example. Not this customer, a leading poultry dressing plant. Basically, we said they were going to save. You're going to save 3.7 million pesos in 12 months. They actually are about the 4 million peso level already in month 9. So we've been quite conservative about that. So you can see actual numbers coming in, and that's one of the plans we're looking at. So very strong investment returns for the backers here, for people who like pencil pushing and number crunching, that really makes a difference. And I want to share with you that there have been some instances where the IRR actually went up by 30 plus 36%. We're not strangers to it now because it's an era of high prices. So that's something that can be done. Okay, next slide, please. So at this point, I just want to, I think I've piqued your curiosity enough, and I really want to spend more of this time doing a dialogue. Our WEnergy team is here, our marketing partners are here as well. I'd like to hear from you what your concerns are as we wrap up this presentation. Let's take this a dialogue and a good Q&A at this point. And we're also going to take questions from the audience online. Okay. Anybody have some questions, comments, feedback? Okay, yes. Nicole, yes.
I guess for decades, everybody's talked about solar farms, not really thinking about it. I think traditionally the issue is price, right? Is that still an issue now, or has the prices gone down? My first question.
Thanks, Nicole. What I'll do is I'll start it off. Our CEO can tell you more about those details of why. All kinds of mindset. I think people were thinking, "Boy, this is complicated technology," or maybe I ordered something from Facebook Marketplace and I had it built. Actually, I was one of those guys. I have a small cottage in Lobos Norte, and I put a thing there. 6 months later, it didn't work. So I said, "Boy, this really sucks." But you realize you have to buy quality, right? Get what you pay for. So at the end of the day, I think the mindset was there, the perception of cost, and the idea that, I don't think it's the last 30 years that we can make a proper return. That's my interpretation. Adam, I want to hear from you. What you think?
In fairness, price, yes, we know the price of solar for watt was high, like $10, $15 per watt. Today it's like 0.27 cents per watt, right? So we went dramatically down. So price is not the issue anymore. What I've seen across this region, you won't believe it. Talk to chairman or CEOs of companies. I thought the most beautiful story was in Indonesia. The CEO of a big Japanese shopping mall in Jakarta. And he said to me, "Son, there's no noise coming from solar. How can you produce electricity? How can you power my mall?" That's where the first thought that went through my mind is, when I go back home, I will ask my engineering team to make a PowerPoint solar for dummies. You know those books, right? So we made one because it's basic science that people will have. Even today, this was 10 years ago. You get people like with Baguio, when we built the hospital power plant, the team couldn't believe that Baguio would have enough solar production to save money. So people perceive cloud and typhoons as a hindrance for solar, but what they don't know is that there is die-hard science that gives you the solar ingredients per square meter, and that is the base for design and savings, etc., not your perception of the cloud. So we see a variety of opinions. Singapore, you will think Singapore is the lead. I think it's beyond Singapore in terms of megawatts of panels installed. Singapore, we say, talks a lot. But when it comes to the industry, the CEOs, don't buy in. They say, "Yeah, but how can a piece of glass power my machines?" The science in the leadership is insane. Now, what is happening now in Singapore is, because of the price that went up, suddenly Singapore factories are paying 45 cents per kilowatt hour against 20 cents before or 60 cents before, let's say, 5 years ago. Now those guys who had our folders of 5-7 years ago suddenly, "Hey, are you guys still that I don't want to mention, but let me just give you, it's a political concept. Right? When you talk about bigger projects, like the ones in Palawan, you will see that there is resistance in government, resistance somewhere. And I call that the oil mafia, the diesel mafia, that doesn't have an interest for us to brag. We're going to save 10 million liters of diesel. Somebody is losing business out there. And they will do everything they can to stop it. And that's happening in Southeast Asia. I'll give it to that. Yeah, thanks. And just add, Nicole, I think one of the issues beyond the mindset is the proof points weren't that pronounced before. I mean, now because our inverters, which is the CEO of the brain of the system, we're able to really calculate. When I say about 60 million cell phones, that's calculable already. Before they weren't able to. You're just guesswork and you just see your bills after. But in this case, you're able to predict the reduction in the bills because the inverters will calculate the actual reduction, and then it makes it more predictable. So all our investors, all our investors or partners who go into the power plants, basically they say, okay, I have a 20-year business. I either inherited it from my parents or I acquired it as part of my private equity or and everything, but I need to make it work because the numbers aren't showing. We can see the numbers. It's not anymore Al Gore Jr. talking to that. Because we have a businessman who knows how much money they'll save and has proven it. So what's helpful, like with a firm like ours, is we have so many clients that would be happy to talk to you and say how much they've saved or how much peace of mind they have, which is what you're buying. So I think that's part of it.
Second part of the question is, I think for renewables in general, the issue is with batteries. How good or bad the battery is that improved also the technology of batteries.
Thanks. Adam, again, the battery costs are falling. You know, the worst effect in terms of panels and chips also applies to batteries. And they are falling to the point that they will be economic. But I'll get that talk to you more in terms of timetable and what it could mean for a renewable. Yeah. So thanks, Quintin. The battery's price has gone down. It is now stable. It's not declining. It's also not increasing because of logistic crisis, mining crisis, whatever. There are several technologies. The Bangkok International Airport project, remember what Quintin showed that project we won, that was financed by the Siam Commercial Bank as a flagship for sustainability. They could have just bought power from the grid and powered 820 light poles, but they didn't. They choose to go along with us because we have a salt iron battery from the US. That salt iron battery, at the end of its lifetime, first 10 years, not 3 years, like a lead acid battery. Lead acid is poison. Lead and acid, right? It's a poison. So at the end of the battery lifetime, 3 years, 4 years, you got to get rid of it somewhere. Now, you know, you put it somewhere in the Philippines or somewhere in Indonesia. You have to ship it, decide to put somewhere in Europe or Singapore. So that battery is going to end up somewhere in the life. The policy that we have is cradle to cradle. It has to be sustainable, which means what do you do with the lithium ion battery end products, right? For sure, we don't use lead acid battery. Full stop. We don't do that stuff. So salt iron is coming up, which is kitchen salt in your battery. It's a bit heavy, but that's 820 pieces around Bangkok Airport. They are already 8 years now. None have failed. We gave them 5-year warranty. It's already 8 years, 0 defect. Lucky because I thought we were going to have 5% problem, but we were really, I mean, I would grant we did a fantastic job there. So technologies in batteries is changing, it's becoming more and more efficient out there, but keep an eye on durability. Don't accept anything below 10 years. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, the Maram is going to be more expensive. It is not. It's all about economics. Calculating everything back to your IRR, the savings, because that ultimately will make sense. Now, there are choices. For example, we offer batteries sometimes in cases, but what you see is happening is that, let's say your IRR, your internal rate of return is, let's say, 60. Those are old numbers, by the way, because those were based on the price of oil a year ago. Right now, it's in the 20s out there, your IRR. Now, If you, let's say, add battery, you use part of it at night, right? With, let's say, big companies can do that, not energy monsters. But if you do that, your IRR goes down, let's say, 4 or 5%. It's a choice you have to make. Your solar share goes up, so you can claim to be more greener, right? But your savings go slightly down, a few percent down. It's a choice you got to make. The choice basically people say, no, let's go for a higher side, which is fine. So you compromise a little bit on your solar share in your energy consumption. Let's say you have 25% solar in your energy mix. By putting battery, you can increase it to 35, even 40. But the price you pay is a little bit less saving. So it's a choice. You want to go green or you want to go for the money. And I don't blame people who say, let's go for the money now. Battery, let's wait until the battery price goes further down. So then we add battery. So that's the, it's not about, sometimes people ask us for battery and say, you don't need a battery because your company is an energy monster. What do we mean with that? That your roof is, no matter how big your roof is, you will never be able to offset all your energy that you need. Like semiconductor factories, steel melters and smelters, chip factory, maybe those are energy monsters out there. The cold storages are energy monsters. Yeah, so you can come up to 10, 15, 20%. Like we are working on water utilities in Indonesia. Those are energy monsters. They run 24/7. When we cover their land with solar, we save maybe 10, 12%. But you talk about billions of rupiahs of savings.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I mean, I think one thing to note from the pragmatic side depends on where your utility is, right? It's how your business is. If it's, for example, in the NCR region, Merlot is a relatively reliable provider anyway. So at this point, batteries may not be as competitive, and you can still get the reliability. But the farther you get away from Manila, the more unreliable it is. And if you're making wafer chips, if you're making banana chips, it doesn't matter. If you want to keep your production consistent, you may want to consider batteries down the road, especially at the price point makes it. I'll give an example. One of our clients is already considering batteries. We said, as a thought partner, we're like, we don't want to sell you equipment. We want to make the economics right. So maybe we'll revisit in 6 months. And they like it because we're not trying to push them to up. We're not trying to upsell, right? We're just going to say, we'll do the economics in 6 months. And then let's still use this as a long-term 25, 30-year partnership. We'll just time it when you need it. And that's really where the partnership and the problem solving comes in. Questions? I think you have some in the back. What? Go on. Yes.
So that means installing a battery is not a must for solar. So it depends on the type of project.
It depends on your objective. You want to go green, brag about green, labels on your products that we are green, which means you want to have the highest percentage. So it's about your objectives. You want to go green, you want to put on your chips, your products, whatever you're making on your hotel, that you are a green 30%, 40% green product. Yes, then you would want to choose probably for energy storage. But if your factory is running 24/7, so anything on your roof that you produce is immediately consumed. There's no need for storage. Storage is basically, I want to save something now to use it later. If that is not the point, we'll talk about batteries then, People say, yeah, but they are offering us a battery. For what? You're not selling it with. You're selling a solution for the client. Yeah, we can make money by dumping a battery, but what is the essence of that? Doesn't make any sense. We don't want to make money like that, honestly, because it's really definition like sometimes we don't
604.
okay, battery is all your objectives. And again, as I said, you want to go green, then compromise a little bit now on that your savings will be slightly lower. But if you say no, we really want to save and you'll save money and you want to go higher in the mix, then we will do it. I mean, in Sabang, for example, the Quintin Pastrana project, we have been charge at night. And right now, I just showed Micah the real-time system of Sabang. You could see that we are now running on battery, not to dense as it's liquid. So yeah, it depends on your objectives. It's cost effective.
It's not
Yeah.
installing it right there in the plant or
It is happening in the effective place behind it. So it is happening behind the meter. If you put a rooftop and you add a battery because you want to use it at that time. You see, school campuses have a lot of rooftop. Their load during daytime is, let's say, X, at night it's X minus something, right? So you only have your street lights on the campus, your computer, your server, your refrigerators in the canteens are on. So if you want to solarize those, right, you can add a small battery, just go clean. The consequence of that is that because you are adding a component, the price will go slightly up per kilowatt hour, and therefore you save a little slightly. It's a matter of you never lose money by it, but it's the difference between go for a 21% IRR versus a 16 minus 4 or 5 because you just added a battery. But for that lower down IRR, you gain being more clean. That's it. And now for private hospitals and so on, where sensitivity is important, like when they are busy taking care of somebody, you don't want the national power to cut down and therefore wait 20 seconds, 30 seconds for the gensets to go on. So what we can do is then make sure there is a seamless solution. So you add a battery, but a seamless solution, not for saving money, but to make sure that nobody dies while they're cutting somewhere, right? So the solar, basically the battery takes over when there is a power cut, and by the time, enough time, plus a half an hour, whatever, then it automatically switches on the genset if the power cut takes longer. So like countries like Myanmar, where certain factories can't afford that switch over time of 30 seconds, battery solution is put in place. But that's another objective, again, a business opportunity and accuracy objective. Thanks, Adam. And then at the end, it's a longer proposition. What you see is when it's a price threshold, and once you see your utility bills go up, then the dialogue comes in and we can put a battery in there. And we can do an economic feasibility study for you, building on the solar. You may get that idea. It's all about the numbers anyway. More questions? Yeah. Yes, Jen.
So speaking about price, based on your experience, how does the JF rate for solar repairs? Is it realistic or is it doable given your experience in putting up solar with battery? The JF rate, which is
The green energy option.
yes.
Now, I haven't seen the latest prices, but my understanding is between the JF rate and the WESM rate, and let's say the retail electricity supply contracts. Some of your firms have over 500 kilowatts, and under the law, you can buy wholesale, right? But even those wholesale prices are going up. So I think there's an inflationary effect. So the GM prices, I think they're competitive enough, but I think they have an upward trend also. And that's what I like about doing EPC solar. Like if you were to invest directly in the system, that really is flat. Right? We have financing options to add a bit of our risk interest there, but at the end of the day, you're still saving. So it's up to you what you want. But I think in general, wholesale prices are going up. In fact, we have another agribusiness client who was saying that initially that their RES rate was 6 pesos. So if you look at the other firm here, 1.8 pesos versus 6 pesos, still competitive, right? But those rates are going up next year by twice because most of those RES suppliers are buying from a portfolio that has fossil fuel in there. And if you look at that fossil fuel mix, anytime that fossil fuel goes up and your portfolio has this much, with it being 79%, then it's going to go up for sure. I thought it was. Sorry, then I'll get negative.
So, yeah. Maybe some of the clients, if they are worried about if their rooftop is strong enough to carry solar panel. And then this situation, how you will deal with it. And if the rooftop needs to be improved to carry the solar panel, how will be the cost to the increase?
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I'm happy you asked that question because that's the last question what our last customer asked us. Basically, the rule of thumb, and I'm not an engineer, so the engineers in the room will correct me. It's 20 kilograms per square meter is the load bearing requirement, which is within the building code. And the reason why our systems can make that is because our, the backbone of the system is basically the mounting structures. They're made out of Germany, one or two brands. That basically they're lightweight and strong, and they're anti-corrosion. So at the end of the day, those are supposed to be the heaviest part plus the panels. So we're able to meet that 20 kilograms per square meter threshold. And more importantly, they're very much engineered to the point that the trusses or the furnaces you have, they're very much back to back and part and integrated to the point that conceptually it's nice to hear. But our favorite example is Tuguegarao. For those of you to Tuguegarao and you want to know what climate change is like, you want to go to Tuguegarao. Because Tuguegarao is the hottest place in the Philippines on record. But it's also the place where there's a lot of typhoons. There's a category 5 storm that comes to Tuguegarao every year. So since we set up that system 6 years ago, every year there's been a typhoon, and our 220 kilowatt system has stayed intact. It's still producing. In fact, the only time that I share, there was one little cluster of panels that we're taking from our IoT, from our mobile phones. Why is it not performing so well? Apparently, during the storm, a bunch of rats went to the rooftop and made their home in one of the panel clusters, and they ate through the cable. But that was all. Otherwise, it survived the category 5 220 kilometer per hour storm. So I think the mounting structure plus the engineering is what makes a big difference. Last comment is you will find that some of the facilities who have ice plants are worried about ammonia or corrosion. The good news is, and I think Maria, our colleagues, can tell you, is that some of our clients, we even show them that the savings in your first year, if you invest with us or you even take a loan from us, half of that already pays for the rooftop replacement. There's a huge food company that said, I don't think this is gonna work because I have to replace this every 5 years. We did the math for her on a spreadsheet with our team in Singapore, and we showed that, year one, we're half net savings, net of your lease payments, is good enough to replace the rooftop on year one. And you can imagine over 25 years, you have enough fat in the savings to make it work. So that's part of the numbers. So those basically reliability and cost-wise, we can overcome the concerns.
So you already have experience the clients, they replace their rooftop to install the solar panel.
Yes.
But under that situation, it's still worse to replace and worse to install the solar panel.
Yes, we work with the engineering team of our clients, and we always have a third-party structural engineer to make sure that they assess that there has to be some rooftop replacement. Like, for example, one of our clients, they said you'll have to replace this in the next number of years. We advise our clients right away so that they can build into their OPEX and CAPEX plans. And they do that. And what we do is we make sure that the installation is in lockstep with the installation and the rooftop replacement, so they're not wasting any time. Thank you. Yes.
In addition to what you was asking, what about warranties for structures of the batteries? How long does it usually last? Is there any, let's say, for proposals, is insurance built into that, or can you build in insurance into that proposal so that if anything happens or anything like that, that can be changed or fixed right away?
Thanks. So there are two parts of the question. I'll talk about the warranty portion, and then I will also talk about the insurance portion as well. Yeah, the first one was about First part of the question I think was a warranty. Yeah, so I can speak about the equipment. So at the end of the day, we only use tier 1 components. Tier 1 means top of the line. No questions asked, warranty to the bill. And effectively, you're looking at a performance warranty for those panels around 25 years. So that's for the panels. For the inverters, usually 10 to 12 years. That's the average of your and at the end of the day, that's exactly as close to the perfection term of a warranty. Now, as far as the insurance is concerned, we typically ask because the building itself, if you have a mall or a hospital, the already has building insurance. So we'll speak to your current insurance provider to make sure that it's seen as an improvement on that facility. So, and they're used to it already. So in the insurance commission, part of the certification is you know what to put and what not to put in your roof anyway. And part of it is the solar panels. You want that? Yeah.
So with the insurance, when you buy a refrigerator or a machine in your factory, if it's a significant addition to your assets, you need to report to your insurance and see if you need to top up on it. For a solar panel, you need to say that's the way you insure your property if you own the property. If we own the property in a financing scheme, we have to make sure we find an insurance. Usually we say it's not a big thing. So why don't you ensure that we check that top up out there and the rest of it. Now comes the warranty part. I think Quintin said, top line components, panels, inverters, cables, those are the things that makes power plant work the way you design it. So the insurance for the warranty of the panels, right? It's about 20 years, right? Which means that in 20 years, the solar panel shall not produce less than 80%, because every year the production declines. I think what is it, 0.5% of the decline because of the degradation of the silicon. And that's natural. So we even calculate that in the cost benefit analysis. We don't take the decline we take into account. But after 20 years, the panel shall not go beyond 80% because then it's a bad panel. In those cases, if the degradation goes faster than what the factory says, we change that panel. And we know it because we monitor it. It's not like you climb and you check it, you don't see it. You really have to measure it, monitor it over time to know that something is in fact in that particular panel. So that is the warranty side of the panel. On the side of the inverters, companies sometimes will try to sell you a 5-year warranty because with that they can save money and complete. We don't do that. We say, look, buy a 10-year warranty. Right? The price difference could be 10,000 for a certain size, but do it because 10 years you have no headache. Now, what happens after 10 years? A recent study from the University of Stuttgart, where Germany has one of the largest numbers of oldest types of inverters installed in the last 25 years. Just last month, a study was published saying that solar panel inverters can live up to 15 years or beyond. Now, that's good news because the question now for you is, do I really want a 10 years warranty? Because you take a 5-year warranty. We still recommend an old on a 10-year, but you don't have to worry when, the next 20 years or the next, years that are coming up. It's just like your light bulb. If it goes out, you buy one new one and you plug it in. It's not rocket science anymore. So that's the warranty on the key things of the solar panel out there. And honestly, the way our leadership, shareholders, directors, staff are motivated brings another dimension. Brings a dimension of we don't want our system, our baby to fail. Even though it's on your roof, even though we spend the money, we don't like to see our baby fail. That's why we've set up a global monitoring system, which comes with it. It doesn't come with the inverter monitoring. We have a standard monitoring system. The server is in Belgium. The operation center is in Singapore. Our engineers know what's happening. We have presidents of the Ribeirão or Baguio or San Fernando, La Union, texting me on messages, Sir Adam, the typhoon is coming, can you please keep an eye on our solar panels? And don't worry, we are on it. Not only on it because we wanted to learn what's happening, but we wanted to see really what is happening during a typhoon. And whoa, I was proud to text these guys back. Your solar system works, it's fine, typhoon is over. So we monitor, and when we see all these problems that can come over the years, we know it, we will let you know and go and fix it. Because guys like me don't like and ask my staff here, sometimes I can scold them why they are 1 day too late in addressing fixing this, which is just $1 out there. Fix it, right? Yeah, but we are busy. No, fix it, because you don't want the God-given ray of light to be lost because somebody was sleeping. No, unacceptable. Climate change is serious, that's why I do.
Thanks, Evan. Okay, we have room for a couple of questions before we formally close, but this is intended to stay here for dinner or not so we can continue our sustainability dialogue and collaboration, right? So room for a couple more formal questions before we wrap up formally. Okay, I mean, these were one of the sort of dialogue and but before I ask Natalia, who's the editor of Georgetown Club in the Philippines, to come over to close the event, I just want to say, look at this picture here, right? The ideal Philippines has cities, not just Imperial Manila, but many secondary cities that have learned from the excesses of this city that we live in, this mega Manila that we live in, and now is reliant on its own power. You can see here, some offshore wind, just like they have in the Netherlands, or solar panels all over the rooftops, or battery storage, or other forms of energy, so that at the end of the day, you are going to have a city where you can actually see the air or see each other without having the smog. You can actually breathe it and have nice bike lanes and all that because there's not so much infrastructure that's clogging your way around. Just think about the impact of the kind of infrastructure choices we make. And that is possible because we showed it in Sabah, the earlier picture I showed, with a microgrid that already does one village of 3,000 people. Can you imagine if we're able to do that with our policymakers to make our cities like that? This is a partnership that begins today. We're happy to share that with you. It all starts with your individual establishments, no matter how big or small. At the end of the day, this is going to be a partnership where the sum of the parts is greater than what we would have imagined. That would have been because many can make individual choices on how to use energy and what kind of energy. So with that, I have called up Natalia, President Georgetown from the Philippines, and close our event.
Everyone for coming tonight, and a round of applause for a wonderful speaker. About so many things we wanted to know, and we'd also like to thank our sponsors, so the Georgetown Club of the Philippines, WEnergy, Asian Society, and of course, Manila House. Thank you all for coming. Please stay and enjoy, and have a